Hi, this is Latin. Hope everyone is staying safe, and we're back with Software Inc. Season 1, Episode 11. Today we look to be concentrating on PM. We got a lot to do, so let's get started. Okay, we're in June of 1991. We got AV Tools ready to release in August. We got Space ready to release in October. We're looking at MusicFox to release in October, and Xcube, our first hardware console, to release in October also. 3 releases in October. This is the first time I've ever done this, so it's going to be interesting to see what happens. Pixelite 2D is in development. You got Martians 2, Thundercard, and Winch Pro in the design phase. Winch Pro Iteration 2 in the design phase. As soon as it gets into development and goes into beta phase, we can move forward to developing a 3D editor and hopefully be first to market with that. We got Office also, and we should move this up because they're in iteration 4, so that's almost ready to go. And as always, we're doing research. Hardware, network, and 3D. So let's move forward to August and take it from there. And we are 6:54 a.m. on August 1991. Our first AV Tools is ready to be released today. All Pro EMs release at 3 o'clock, end of day. Our end of day is 3 o'clock, so this will be releasing at 3 o'clock. So we're going to move forward till then. I've also done a review for Pixel 2D, and it was, I believe, if I recall correctly, August 8.3, so that's doing good. That's the way you always check those. Office is about to pop, as we say, and we're still looking at WinPro. It's still in iteration 2, so I'm hoping that moves forward. They're working on network for that one. So let's move forward, and this is ready to develop, so that's in development. And since it's in development, we could also do press. Look how fast that thing is going. And we got pickups and things going all over the place. Let's slow it down. We're getting close to release time. The last thing is if AV gets released. Unless they're going to release it later. Office has reached alpha and does not have any followers. Okay, so that's Office. We just took care of that. AV, what's up? Looks like they didn't release it. Well, when they're going to have problems with this. Oh, they did release the Project Management AV Tools has released the Antivirus Clean Pro 4. How many of you saw that and didn't say anything? Anyway, let's go see how we did. Clean Pro 4 Antivirus D4 1999. Outstanding. First AV, outstanding. So that basically debunks that theory that you cannot do outstanding in PM. We went through the steps. Okay, now here's what I've done so far. Oh, this is research. Let's get this done. I should have been further up to brown line in order to get noticed. Okay, WinSource support pattern. Push that up to 920. Sorry about that, folks. Little interruption there. So we got 2 items, patterns that I'm working on. This looks like it's going into iteration 3. Martians are both going into. Okay, I set up an OS HD Tools, and I want to walk you through why. This is why. This is our Bernie Sullivan's is an OS HD leader, and we can look at his stars in a minute. If you give me a second, we could go here. He has 2. He's missing the handle post-release task star. So I've set him up beforehand. We haven't even released our HD, but he's already working on setting this up. My hopes that he'll get his star by the time we release the HD. So we're experimenting. We'll see if that happens. But it's always good to set these guys up first. And the next order of business is to check this to make sure, okay, they have support queued and they have marketing queued. So those are both cubes and they both have the right teams on it. We did not put auto develop. So if I hit auto develop, only sequels, we don't need to use frameworks anymore. And we'll see if that starts off, and then we can move this down the line below everything else, because that's going to take a while. Further down the line, further down the line, further down, right below research. And patent, research and patent will disappear. Okay, so these 2 guys are basically, well, let's out first on this one. Okay, so we're going to quickly look at our teams, preferably development team, core teams. Our first, he has 3 stars. Port debug team has a leader with 2 stars in automation, which is someone we can move over. Port debug, where you're going to utilize their developers for new teams as they level up and their leaders. OSHD has 2 stars, and we just walked through that. OSHD, that's Sullivan. Games 2 has 2 stars. So what are we going to do? We're going to set up Games 2. And remember, games, if we look here, system, games, we set RPG, Adventure Sims, Sports, RTS, FPS, real-time shooter, and first-person shooter. Real-time strategy and first-person shooter. So it's going to be Sports, RTS, and FPS. So that's set up. Who did we say we were going to assign to it? Games 2, Gonzalo. He will be assigned to this. And it will be Design Games 2. Games 2. Oh, my bad. Games 2 and art. Remember, we get paid off games with art. Secondary. Let's click on none. Go down to the bottom. That's where the secondary. Support teams. Oh, secondary. My bad. Secondary. None. We don't have a secondary support team yet. Maybe we'll set one up later, if not in the next series. Support teams, select none, go down. Find them and select them. Lower is correct. Marketing is correct. We have to select them there. And post-marketing is what we're looking for. Load to marketing tool, right? Post-marketing. SCM is SCM 3.0. Prototype software, we don't have any yet. As soon as space releases, we'll assign that there. Server, always hosting games. I always put games at 300%, as do I for OS. Everything else is 280. Auto develop is off. Only sequels is off. Use frameworks. Well, no, we do have a framework for. But then again, we do have a framework. We'll leave it on for now. Use some licenses, yes. Handle marketing, yes. This is basically nothing to select here because Gonzalo Coleman only has 2 stars in automation. And we're having him set this up with hopes that he'll get his 3rd star by the time this has to be used. So it's okay for that, and it should be here in the bottom. You can move it up below HD. Okay, so that's games 2. And they still have to put that thing together, and as soon as that Thundercars is in development, so we have to put that team together. We'll get that done also. And the way we do that is manage Thundercars. How many do we need? We need designers. Program is 7, so we need 6 programmers, and I select the 7th one to level it out. We just gotta make sure that this guy has. Oh, he's not able to hire. Games 2 is not able to hire, so we're gonna have to hire. Or, okay guys, we're gonna do something. Select him, change roles, take the leadership away from him, change team. Come on, where are you? Or did I pass it already? There it is. The games. We're gonna go to games. Select their leader. Move their leader over to games 2. And there's no compatibility concerns there. We'll make this guy a leader for now. And we'll circle back and switch that back. All I basically need for this guy to do is put a team together for me. And he'll do that right away. What time is it? No, he'll do it tomorrow. So that'll get done. That's one way of doing that. Just have another guy, and then hopefully he's compatible. And if he's not compatible, we're just gonna have to see was this guy compatible. Anyway, I'll sort that out. OSPC also needs a leader. So what we're gonna do is, since AV moved over, OSPC, we're gonna go to core. Our first change teams. Our first is going to be our first PM manager only. So it's just going to manage that. The core team, what I'm going to do is select by age from 2, 3, 4. That's going to be our core team. Those 4 will be our core team. And they basically have 4, 4, and audio. In fact, that's going to be our core team. Everybody else is going to go to OS, and they'll get their own leader, and then but our first will be managing that team. It's PM. So we could set up the OS PC now also. Our first PM. Design OS PC. OS PC. And let's throw art in there. They may not need it now, but I know they're going to need it soon. Secondary, none. Support team. And go down and let's find them. They were selected before, so they moved up. We selected them recently, they move up. Let's click done here. Except law, they tend to stay where they're at. Those lawyers, I don't know. SCMs, prototype. Prototype, I'm not going to put anything because as soon as it's released, we'll use that. And sports, here, I took the leader away, so that's unassigned. That's going to be a problem. I'm going to have to put the leader back. So prototype is done. Server, hosting, OS tools 300, hype, auto develop, only sequels, framework, single IP, no. Use on licenses, I will select yes, and the marketing. And this is software. And printing 300,000. We're moving up in the operating, we get 968,000, so 300,000. It's fine. I'm struggling with this use all licenses. I've always used, no, that's fine. Use only sequels and auto develop is fine because as soon as we assign, once we release Wins Pro, it's going to be sequels from there on. So those 2 are fine. So that's it. That's set up. And by the time that releases, this will be all filled out. This will be all filled out and it'll be ready to go. And we'll get a head start on it. And meanwhile, this unassigned, we're going to have to go in here. And who was it? Gonzalo Coleman, right? That was assigned to that? I could double check. Oh no, we changed. No, Gonzalo Coleman, sports, yeah. Games 2. No games. Is that games or games 2? Sports. He is games 2. Well, this is completely wrong. Games 2, sports games 2, and this is where we were looking at OSHC. Bernie Sullivan. Okay, we're good. Okay, so that's that. Let's move forward to October and get these other items released. So let me just bring you guys back. And we're back in October 1991. We've double checked to make sure we have prints for each one of these, which we do. In Cube, we all know we have prints for Cube. And $6.5 million we spent on them. So we're going to basically move forward to my 12 p.m. or 3 p.m., whichever comes first. And gets these released. And then we'll see what's next. To getting all these. Oh, and also, before we move any further, AV options. They started Clean Pro 5. They've already set a date. Why? Because all this was already taken care of. So that speeds everything up. Set up your PMs 1 or 2 months ahead of time. My suggestion is 2, possibly 3 months ahead of time. I've done it 2 and I've done it 3, depending on whether I remember or I forget. And that'll help. Because if we look good here, the HD tools, they're working on it, they'll progress, and as soon as it's completely filled up, back to our releases. Number 12 or 3, whichever comes first. We only got 263 bugs out of this. We got less bugs out of each one of these than I would want to release with, and that is the downside of releasing 3 items in 1 month. You have less support, less bug fixing, even though each team was being helped by the port team. But that is the downside to that, just so you guys know. Take that into account, but we should be fine. Marketing, do we want to print? Not really, but I want to make sure they're in place. So yeah, okay. That's the first one. It's space. And I knew space was going to be a great. The reason being, when I promoted it, it was only 90-90. It was a 10, but it was 90-90. And I know, the minute I did it, I know that was going to be a great, because it has to be 95 to 98. I preferred to get it to 98% complete. You get it to 98% complete, you're guaranteed outstanding. That was only in 90, that's why we got a great. Okay, let's release the next one. Everything else should be outstanding. And they got 103 in place. And this is the biggie. This is the biggie. This is the biggie. You notice I checked it. 50,000 in place, and we do not. There's 47,468 demand, and that will cost us $12 billion. Twice as much as we paid for the 50. Twice as much. So let's say those are 3 releases. This moves up. So let's say marketing. Office moves up. Office doesn't have marketing. Oh, here it is. My bad. Okay, so first was space. So AV, since it's being worked on already, I moved it up to the top. Usually takes less time than an operating system or a game to develop, so they should be fine right there. Okay, that's it. And we're porting Clean Pro 4, which we released before, which means we have to port base. And then guess where we're going to port it to first? Can anybody tell me where we're going to put this to first? Yep, X-Cube. I'll worry about everybody else later. No, I selected that. So it'll be in my way, I guess. Port. And this is Music Box. And we're only going to port it to 2. And Cube, we don't port it to anything. But Music Box and Cube, we should basically automatically right away make a sequel. With X Music Box, what I want to do is break away the development team and the design team. These two I want to handle AV and Office. And then we're going to put Design 2 to work on audio and 2D. 1 team, audio 2D. 1 PM, audio 2D. So 1 PM for dev and design for Office and AV, and 1 PM for design 2 and dev 2, 2D. This is AV and Office, and 2D and audio will be 1 PM. So those PMs, we got to set them up. Everything else. Now marketing, I am concerned with music, marketing for space, and marketing for XQ. That should all go up here. My big concern right now is getting these 2 done and getting these. And we had we try to get a team set up. So let's move out of here. Make sure that team is set up. So now OSPC is the only one that's not ready to go because that has to be released the night before we release this, or the date that we release this, so that the next day these guys will jump on it. We'll set this up, and like I said, I'm going to set it up with the core team. Part of the core team is going to go to this. The other part of the core team is going to be support for all the PMs. Or I may just put the whole core team in OSPC. I still haven't decided. All our PMs are set up. The exception is sports is set up, and as soon as that releases, we could add that right now. Now that I'm saying, as soon as it releases. Okay, sports was released. We have a PM waiting for it, so let's create a sequel. And it doesn't have to be Space 2. It could be any other adventure game that you guys want to make. You want to change the name to another adventure game, so let's do that. Let's make it Oceans. Let's go explore an adventure in Oceans. Existing, these 2 don't come into play until Wins Pro goes out. So that's $65.99, but let's not do anything yet. Let's move over Music Box. I'm glad that they filled that right in. That's what's going to be my selection. Had 2D been in beta, we could have selected it also, but our 2D is not in beta yet. It's close, but it's not there yet, so. It's active, it's not off. What we need is our own X-Cube and OS and Wins Pro. I'm just going to select our own for now. Let's select frames. They are in the millions. Leave that money on the table. Okay, so where is this thing going to? Less than a year. Why? We did not raise the tech yet. And hopefully nothing gets knocked out. Yeah, but 2D editor got knocked out. They wasn't compatible. I'm gonna leave this at 83. I'm gonna bring this down too. This says 83. I saw it said 83. I figured to see if we raise this, limited by vector styles. I'll say one let us raise it because of vector styles. Okay, that's new. That works. Okay, so branching story, we want to select that. Advanced hub, do we want to select advanced hub? What's it going to give us? Why is this not 99? That's 100%, but we got a lot of waste. 10% more waste. Okay, so 69.99. That price to go up. 99. Project manage, sports RTS first person shooter. There it is. So you assign them. Be nice if I selected the right one to show off. Options, yes. Design, 0. Follow, 0. Release, none. Nobody's working on this yet. We're going to find out why right now. Werner Tate, where are you? Okay, sports 2. Games 2. Sports 2. Games 2, employees. Werner Tate, you have everything you need, Werner. So why you're not prioritizing that, I have no idea. She is the leader. She does have the skill set, unless she doesn't have an office. Games 2, leader, right there. Brian Jennings. Design games 2. Why does this? Oh, design. My bad. My bad. Games 2. She's not here. Is she on vacation? I should have checked that. Oh, she's in class. Oh, that's right. When she moved over from the design team, she was in the design team. She was the leader of the design team. I moved her over, and she had education available to her for programmer, and I sent her out. I believe it was 2 months. So as soon as she gets back, that'll get put together. But that's it. That's PM in a nutshell. Assign them. Make sure as soon as you have a team, as soon as you see that your product is about to be released, put together the OS, put together the PM leader. As soon as you see that your product is about to be released, put together the PM, put together the leader, get them starting and setting it up. And once it releases, like sports it, just assign it. And once you assign it, most of it should have been done. That was my bad for sending her to classes. I should have sent her to classes after it was all done. That was about 2 months ago, so she should be back next month. But that's it. That's just my strategy. I set these leaders up. I set the PM up, and I just assign it. Now, what goes next? Thunder Cars, Martians, Wins Pro, these will all get assigned, and then all you're gonna have is PMs here, and they're gonna be just like this. You'll check the marketing here, and this. Do what I did, just set them up to auto develop and only sequels. The reason why you select only sequels so that they go to version Pro 5. That's why you try to shorten these names so that it's less the Pro 5, next Pro 6, Pro 7. If you select single IP, the system will change this name and pick a new name every time a new release goes out. That's the difference in that. And as soon as this releases, Wins Pro, we're going to be basically doing 2D. So that'll be in our next episode. In our final episode, we'll get 3D done, and network doesn't come into play until then, also in 95. So that's it. Keep yourself safe. Keep those around you safe. Latin out.